Wolf, with the transfer of power, as John Boehner becomes Speaker, there is a dramatic shift in the control of all the congressional committees. And we're joined now by Congressman Darrell Issa of California, Republican of California. He is about to become the chairman of the Government Oversight Committee. And Congressman, Mr. Chairman, you have promised aggressive investigations of this administration, and you've drawn some criticism, even before you become chairman in just a few moments, because you have already said on the record, before you've had any hearings and any evidence and used your subpoena power before you, that you believe this is one of the most corrupt administrations in history. Do you owe the president and his administration an apology for saying that before you've done your work?
Well, in the last Congress, we saw that this last Congress and the Congress before handed out huge amounts of money to this administration that were misused. TARP money never authorized the bailout of car companies and their union pension programs, well, causing the bondholders to be stiffed. So there has been a great deal of misuse of those monies. But I've always said that Congress is more to blame. We have absolute obligation to deliver our money without that kind of specificity. So, you know, I've never blamed the administration alone. They were given this money, they misused it, but the fact is they were given this money.
But you have called them corrupt, sir. You just twice used the word misuse. That's a judgment on your part, and you will have subpoena power. You can have hearings. You can call up the witnesses, and we will see what the evidence shows in the weeks and months ahead. Was it wrong to use the word corrupt, which you have used repeatedly, when you have not yet had a hearing?
I think people misunderstand the meaning of the word corrupt, and obviously CNN does. Corrupt or corrupted or failure, it's no different than a disk drive that's giving you some bits that are wrong. I've never said it's illegal. I've never made any of the statements that are often said on CNN that imply wrongdoing of the president at a criminal level. But I do believe that the American people have changed the control of the House in no small part because they saw more regulation, more misspending than they ever dreamed possible, and they need Republicans to be part of the balance to bring that back under control. And we have to be honest, a lot of that misconduct, if you will, of too much loose money started years ago under a Republican president, Republican Congress. So understand, as chairman, I intend to go back to the beginning of the Bush administration and look at the early funding of the war and many things that can never be allowed to happen again. We cannot give the president blank checks or walking around money.
I would give you, myself personally, as someone who's been here 22 years, a big amen. If what you conduct is aggressive congressional oversight, fair oversight of the administration, so help the American people on your first day in power understand where you draw the lines. What is first out of the box for Chairman Darrell Issa? And you will face partisan pressure. You know that, sir, in your new job. Where do you draw the line between oversight and witch hunt?
Well, first of all, I said on Sunday that the administration doesn't need additional lawyers. They need more accountants. We intend on working with the IGs and with all the government accounting organizations to try to find opportunities for saving, look for redundant programs and so on. We're going to begin not by doing any witch hunts, but by taking the bipartisan work that Chairman Towns and I were doing in the last Congress and continuing it. That'll include things like food and drug safety. It'll include looking at Countrywide and the programs that they had that may have led to, at least in no small part, the loss to the American people. As you know, Freddie and Fannie both received $1.3 billion each in settlement from the Countrywide misconduct. So we're going to continue on those because they're bipartisan. The subpoena against Countrywide was issued by Chairman Towns. As we go forward, though, we're going to be looking for job killers and regulatory excesses. We're going to be calling in business, if you will, employers and job creators and trying to get their look on what it takes to get America working again.
Congressman Darrell Issa, I want to bring into the conversation, allow her to ask a couple questions, our senior congressional correspondent, Dana Bash. And as I do so, I just want to tell our viewers, you're watching the drama unfold on Capitol Hill. You see the current Speaker of the House, soon to be the former Speaker and Democratic leader, Nancy Pelosi, on the floor of the House. As we watch the pictures unfold, Dana, take it away.
Thanks, Sean. Mr. Issa, I just want to ask you, one of the things that you said, your aides released a list of the areas that you will want to look into. One of them is whether or not there's excess regulation on businesses. There's a report that, along with that, you sent a letter to 150 trade groups asking for advice on...
Trade group and individual companies.
Okay. Is it not untoward for a Republican chairman to ask businesses what regulations they don't like?
No, just the opposite. It is the appropriate thing to do. You know, President Obama has invited, and they have come, CEOs, to come in and say, what is it going to take to get America working again? I didn't assume that I should invite them to the Oval Office and listen to them. That's his job. My job was to try to find an efficient way to get the same sort of input. And we decided to spread a much wider net, initially 150. But Dana, I've got to tell you, we've had dozens and dozens of companies and trade groups who said they were left out and they'd like to have some input too.
But it just seems as though for a Republican Congress coming in promising to do things differently, that it seems like business as usual for Republicans to be asking businesses about information about how Congress can change things to make it easier for them to operate.
Please, don't be so naive. Business as usual would be listening to trade groups behind closed doors or at fundraisers. We're listening to them on the record. What they say is going to be published, and when we have them before our committee, we're going to be asking them to speak with specificity about what we can do to be part of job creation. So I think open government is what we're changing to, just the opposite of business as usual.
Mr. Issa, thank you very much. Your committee obviously is going to be one that we're going to be watching very carefully.
Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations today on your being sworn in. And